What's up, y'all? It's your girl LegalQTee, and I have been doing a ton of shorts. Um, and so I also wanted to start to kind of keep up my other show, right? My longer stints. For those of you all who don't really like the short stuff or like them both. Um, so today I want to discuss because on one of my shorts last week we were discussing suing. I had a person and they had written me and they were pissed off because their wife filed a criminal case against them. And when the wife filed the criminal case against them, she also filed a family custody action against him. Well, when he was in criminal jail, they weren't taking him to family court. So he ended up losing custody of the kids. He ended up not winning because he got defaulted for not showing up. But he was on the criminal case, okay? And so he wanted to sue his wife, the judge, the DAs, because him being in criminal court, they didn't transfer him to family court, and so he lost his custody. And he feels like his wife, this was a conspiracy by her, to defraud him of custody of his child, blah blah blah. So there were a few people that were passionate, honey, passionate, on the Instagram page, and they were just saying that I sounded like, you somebody who's, on the wrong side, blah blah blah, that you can sue anybody you want to sue, blah blah blah. At the end of the day, you really don't know me if you don't know that I do civil rights. I sue police officers. I sue states. I sue counties. I sue cities. I sue jails. That's what I do. Okay, that's one of the things that I do, and I do those in federal court mainly, under constitutional law. I practice constitutional law. So, bloop bloop, sit down. Bloop bloop, sit down. I am a civil rights attorney. Not only do I do criminal defense, not only do I do child support and keep people out of jail for that, but I also do civil rights. So know your audience when you talking. Okay. So what I want people to understand is you can sue whoever in this world that you want to sue. But whether or not your case is going to be dismissed is a whole nother thing. Okay? You don't want to file a lawsuit that is not going to move forward. That's going to be dismissed because you improperly filed it. What's the point in wasting the money to file it? When you're in federal court, you're spending $500 or more to file the case and get people served. It's not cheap. State court $400 to file your case and get people served. And so I mean these are just averages. It goes up, guys. It goes up. So why would you want to pay that money and then get your case thrown out? And you got to pay for an attorney more than likely, or the attorney has your. Why are you going to file a case for it to get thrown out? Let me explain something to you, people. Judges, DAs, police officers, they have something called qualified immunity. And I have been successful in litigating against them and abrogating their qualified immunity. But it's very limited circumstances when you can abrogate or pierce through or cut through somebody's shield. Okay, they have a legal shield. And that legal shield is called qualified immunity, meaning that if they are performing a task underneath color of law, pursuant to their employment, okay, and they are making decisions that are discretionary within that employment, and they're not doing anything that's crazy and unreasonable given the circumstances, your case won't be heard. The judge will cut it off. It doesn't survive the motion to dismiss or a motion for summary judgment, and it shall be dismissed. Okay, so spend your time filing cases that you can win. And you got to be sure that an officer has done something. See, with George Floyd, he's not supposed to remain on someone's neck like that. So he can be underneath color of law, but he's not acting pursuant to the policies. Okay? There's a clear violation of a constitutional right. And he's not going to be able to argue that he was just acting under the scope of his employment and making a sound decision, or it was up to his discretion what he was doing. When you're beating the hell out of somebody, sometimes qualified immunity wins. Because if they're making a judgment decision, if they're arguing that they're measuring your movements with increased intensity, or they're gauging their movement based on your movement, and they can show that they had to keep tasing you because you kept getting up, or they had to do something. If it can be justified, meaning if it's not unreasonable what they did, if it doesn't seem just outlandish and crazy like a Rodney King beating, then they're qualified immunity will pick up, and the lawsuit will be dismissed. In that particular case, you cannot sue the DA for taking charges against you. It's just not going to happen. You file against that DA, it's going to be dismissed for qualified immunity. The DA has the job of filing cases. And sometimes he or she is right, sometimes he or she is wrong. But as long as they are making sound decisions underneath their employment under color of law and using valid discretion, you can't get them. So, sir, clearly your wife called the police. The police contacted the district attorney, and the district attorney chose to pick those charges up based on what your wife and the police said. District attorney, that's going to be qualified immunity. The officer, that's going to be qualified immunity. Because the officer, unless he beat you or did something that he wasn't supposed to do to you, has the right to take you to jail if someone says that you committed a crime. They're allowed to use their discretion and take you to jail. And that's it. So that case is going to be dismissed. Okay? They don't have a duty to bring you to family court for a civil proceeding when you're in criminal ties. They just don't have that duty. You're in jail. It costs the county money. They don't have to pull you over. And you very well can lose a case getting a criminal case. What you must do is bond out. You need to bond out. You need to hire an attorney to fight that family case for you. Because that attorney will ensure your attendance in court by running through the necessary bench warrants and what have you to get you over to family court. Other than that, it's a no-go. So, guys, you can't just get mad and sue people. You got to be able to catch them acting outside of their discretion, acting unreasonable under the circumstances. It's called unreasonable under the circumstances. If what they have done to you is unreasonable under the circumstances, and you can prove that by looking at other cases, and it's showing that that act was unreasonable under those circumstances, then you can sue somebody. You can sue a officer. You can sue a judge. But you don't really catch them. That's why you don't see judges getting sued every day, because that that immunity is strong. I mean, it doesn't make sense for the government to make someone be in the position of a judge to stand there and catch lawsuits from people who don't agree with their findings and their rulings. So you have to make sense when you say something, and you kind of have to understand. And sometimes one way that I beat my cases is that I know my case better than my opponent. When I run across a case, I've looked at the defense of the case and the offense of the case. Okay? So if you don't know both sides of a story, your case will never succeed. You have to be ready and battle for everything somebody's going to bring to you. So know both sides when you're arguing, guys. Know both sides of your cases. Always know both sides. If it's a criminal case, know both sides. Know the DA's side and your side. Know your evidence on both sides. That's how you maneuver. Because in this world, and with the way that the law is written, it's really not about what happened. It's about what can be proven. Right? So know your opponent and know your side and know your story. And know that you cannot be suing officers unless they acted unreasonable under circumstances, and taking you to jail for beating up on your wife is not unreasonable. And the judge putting you in jail for beating up on your wife is not unreasonable. And the fact that you didn't make a bond is not anybody else's fault, sir. So then you missed court, and that it is what it is. And go cry me a river. Go find Justin Timberlake. Okay? With that being said, we're done here today, but keep abreast of what's going on my YouTube channel. Like, subscribe, hit the notification button. Keep up with us, okay? And make sure you always comment below. Guys, be nice to each other, okay? We don't have time for that. Next case.